Okie dokie. How do I figure out how to get yeah, okay. You might do that when people actually turn up. But let's find out. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. Excellent skill viewers. Excuse me 1 second. I am fighting with. Why isn't this letting me? Who cares? I think we're live, so that's all that matters. Got a new setup today. Added a camera, added some pretty cool foot pedals to switch between scenes, and just had a bit of a shift around, really. Ordered a new hobby mat, which is going to be twice the size. So when you, excuse me, when you see the new scenes, you'll understand why, because there's going to be a lot more space for us to be taking up. So without further ado, let's try the first footstool. Okay, so here is our new camera. Reason why we put it together is I got some advice from a really good friend called Charlie. And these cameras should be better because they autofocus. When I say that, there you go. You can see the amazing painting detail going into these. And then we have the overhead cam, which is kind of pretty useless at the moment. When I start building something like Ionis or just any other kind of dragon, this will be useful. I'll probably end up zooming it in. But that's probably about it. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Right. So, machine's trying to be up. Open a widget. I don't understand the bit rates and things like that, so we're just going to carry on regardless. The only thing I really wanted to see is chat, but that's me being hopeful, thinking that there's going to be chat. Yeah. Never mind. So, using the old footstool, we are going to be switching from doing mass painting to individual painting now, because as you can see here, we're at the point where we can start doing the metal detailing. I've started doing the gold on here, and as you can see, when we decided that I'll find the magic. It's just the camera. Gold, and I did the retribute over it. Oh, there you go. You can see that it went into the recesses really nicely and gave it a really dark complexion to it, which we're going to lighten up with some dry brushing with the flathead dry brush and some Necron compound, just so we can give it a little bit of a worn look rather than just having it kind of as a matte red. I gotta shift on over here for a second and find me a fresh brush. I have to move everything around for the new setup, so you'll have to forgive me. I will have to make a trip down to Mythic, my FLGS, to stock up on these bad boys, because all I have is extra large, and I need me a small, which is kind of the opposite of the story of my life, but it's how we do. So, flathead. That's the one which I'm kind of talking about. We've got the flathead ones here. That one's focused. After this stream, I'll have a poke around and see about what we can do about autofocus with this. And then the other type is this is an army painter. It's more like a makeup brush. It's too big for what we're wanting to do. So we're going to go ahead and just use the flat brush. And what do we got here? We don't want to use a layer. We want to use a specific dry brush paint. And I did not know until not too long ago that they did specific dry brushing paints. So, I would used to mix all of my dry brushing colors for when I started doing dry brushing with my ultramarines. And then I went into the FLGS, and Scott, the manager, was just like, dude, just why don't you pick up some dry Stormfang or dry Calgar or something like that, and it'll make your life a whole lot easier. And it's just like, well done. You are absolutely correct. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just loading up the brush now. Bear with me. I'm still getting used to with making sure I'm in front of the camera. In the long term, it's going to be better for my posture because I'm not kind of hovering over something like I can actually stretch out a little bit. So dry brushes or dry paints, as you can see, they're almost like concealer makeup. Very, very dry. And what we're going to do, like we do with all our dry brushing before we do it, we do the thumb test. This looks good for a first bypass. And because most of the detail is going down, we're going to go across, because that way we're going to catch more ridges and we're going to catch more highlights. So we always start off with less because it's so much easier to add more on rather than take it away. You try and take it away and you end up just looking like a mess of overcompensating, which is kind of the story of my life. But there we go. You can see just after a few, less than a minute of dry brushing, it gives it that nice kind of either sun catching it or it's a little bit more worn. And they've been reforged a few times maybe. We're going to let that dry, and then we'll do a final highlight with just the Lamin metallic, purely because doing it by itself gives it just a really nice thin light highlight. So we're going to wait for that to dry there, and whilst we're going to do that, we're going to get my favorite utility brush, which is the Army Painted Starter Brush. I did not expect that I was going to like this as much as I thought I was going to, but it came with a magazine, and it just it holds its tip, it holds a good amount of paint to it. It's just a good utility brush. And as I've said before, I'm kind of weird as I much prefer synthetics to horsehair, or just because I like the consistency of the brush a bit more. It's a bit stiffer, and I find that makes it easier to paint for me because I'm shaky-handed. So anything that helps me keep on track is super useful. And yeah. So anyway, how How are you guys doing? I know we don't have anyone in the chat at the moment, but feel free to put comments down once you've had chances to digest what was going on, digest your weekend. Was it a good one? Did you face any challenges? My challenge this weekend was that my gorgeous wife Meg finally took some time for herself and went to go and see one of her favorite authors with her aunt and best friend up in Sacramento, and they had dinner and stayed over and just generally had a nice time. Problem is, and this is a selfish problem, I'm still recovering from gallbladder removal and a chronic pain attack which lasted for a week. So we had to get my mother-in-law down, who I love. She is fantastic, but she lives up a good 4 or 5 hours drive away, and it always makes me feel guilty getting her down here. But as soon as I see her with our daughter, they just get along like a house on fire, and my daughter does not stop talking about it for a good week or so after the fact. So they get along like a house on fire, and it's lovely to see. Okay, no gold needed on there. Got some gold needed on here, and then we're going to start. We'll do another wash. We'll do another wash on this silver to get it super blue, and then do another dry brush over it. Probably do a dry brush in Stormcast silver because it's lighter than the Necron one. So let's just get these golden bits out of the way. What do you guys think of the music anyway? It's really hard to, because I'm an old guy and I like my own type of music. What do you guys think of it? I try and pick something on Soundstripe, and they have like different genres of like quirky and corporate is a really big one they've got. But they just developed this AI one where you can just type in, and I just typed in happy streaming, and this is the kind of stuff that came up. It's growing on me a little bit. I'm usually a metal fan, like Machine Head, Slipknot, Killswitch Engage, all that kind of fun stuff. But my wife, who is a big fan of, always comes to me with like, "Hey, this song's really big on TikTok at the moment." I'm not gonna lie, 9 times out of 10 they are ass. But then you get one that will come through every now and then that's just, it's a bop. It's really good and it's really fun. So at the ripe old age of 39, I'm starting to broaden my musical horizons. But I still love the classics when my dad was still alive and I was young. And if you're around my age, you probably remember most houses had a deck of musical players. Like it'd have a vinyl player, CD player, tape player, cassette player. And every now and then we'd just sit down and Dad would crack open his vinyls and we'd listen to things like really old school stuff like Tubular Bells and Zeppelin. What else is a favorite? Robert Plant. My dad was a big Robert Plant fan. Just generally stuff which he grew up on and wanted to share with us, and it inspired me to learn the guitar, and I picked that up when I was 10, and I got to admit it's one of the most rewarding things I've done. And my daughter, who's still only it even marked out on the map where I should be. Anywho, Um, and yeah, it's good. We got my daughter a ukulele, and I've played the guitar in front of her, and she's really into it. And she also, loves dancing, loves singing, and good. There's every time. Luckily, the drive to pick her up from um, daycare is only about 10 minutes long, but it's the same two songs every time I go and collect her, which is fine because I remember being that age and wanting that. But it's if you've ever seen the Aardman animation film Farmageddon, there's a song on that which I really like as well. It's called like Everything Is Better With You, uh, and she loves that, so we have to listen to that. And then there's this Netflix series about a bus called Tayo, and she just loves the theme tune to that. So I'm happy with the 2 layers of gold that we've put on here. Let's see, can we? So I'm going to add the Reichland wash. Come on now. I'm going to add the Reichland wash, and then once that's dried, I'll do the I'll do the dry brushing for it. Once again, friends, my piece of advice to you after losing more than my fair share pots of shade: blue tack. Blue tack the bottom. Have somewhere on your mat. Let me use my foot pedal. Have somewhere on your mat, like I have here, dedicated just to blue tack. So when you have either a full bottle or something you're afraid you're going to smack over, just plonk it on there and you're good to go. Yeah, sorry about these transition times as well. It's supposed to be super quick, but it's failing me at the moment. So I'm gonna have to look on like LinkedIn Learning to see if they've got some OBS training or something. Or YouTube, probably, yeah. A much better idea. So what I find with putting on shades is more is better. You want to have enough on there so it leaves residue and it leaves the actual wash there, because you can get into a place where it just kind of covers it up slightly. What I like to do is leave a good amount of residue on there, like might be able to. Oh, you saw it for a flash there. If you go back and pause, oh, there you go. Look at that. So you can see. Wow, this song is a bit hard. You can see it leaves a good amount on there. The song makes me want to run through a wall. It's kind of like the music we listened to before we would play our football games. So we'd be out on the field with the PA system on, and everyone got to choose a song, and the majority of the people appreciated rap music. And just this aggressive rap music come on would just make me want to run through a wall and get you in the mood. I'd always kind of make a joke of it by picking like an 80s power ballad or something, some White Snake or something, just to kind of break up the tension a little bit, make people remember that we're here for some fun, and we want to win, but we also want to. The main point we're there is we want to play and have fun. None of us are getting paid, so let's take it easy. Let's have a good time. It did not end that way. I ended up retiring because someone pulled out a gun at the end of the game. Part of the game in my opinion, is banter. And you know, if you're English and American, you know what banter is. You know, if you're beating someone horrifically, you're going to start letting them know about it. And some people did not take that very well, and they would get their egos in the way, and yeah, this guy just had a serious problem. He did not like the fact that he kept on getting dunked on, and kept on being reminded about how much he was being dunked on. So yeah, at the end of the game, whilst we were all walking around and shaking hands, he found the wide receiver that was giving him the most jip, and pointed a gun at him. And at that time, I was like, you know what? I am outie. Like I said, I'm not getting paid enough for this. I'd also just started a pretty serious job as well, and I didn't want to end up taking time off due to an injury through football. So it's just a logical time. So we've got the Lamin metallic, and we're just going to do the same thing we did with the Necron compound. We're going to go across the detail just really lightly. We got a light amount of stuff, light amount of paint. So you can see there, it's almost like a bronzy, but it's got that rich gold that comes through in contrast with what's coming across on the braces. You'll have to tell me what my armor pieces are. But what I'm going to do now to prep us for our next stream is I'm going to paint these warhammers and the shafts black. So I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and do magma heads. So we'll start off with, let me think, do we want to go from yellow to red or from red to yellow? I'll figure something out. I'll get it down on paper so I can understand it properly. Let's see if I can just use the rest of this to highlight these gold parts that I've just oh yeah, it looks like it's going to work out okay. Oh, I believe, oh no, I thought my wife had just gone home. In fact, I think she has. Abort, lads, abort. Let me have a check. Yeah, wife's home. Thanks for joining. I want to go and say hello to my wife and get a kiss and a cuddle. Probably have another stream tomorrow. Take it easy, stay happy and healthy. Your friend, Will Sonniest to some, Jack to everyone else.